What's up guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be sharing different tips and techniques to do a haircut on a client that doesn't have perfect hair. If you want to learn more, stay tuned. What's up everyone, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video, another tutorial. So happy to be here with you guys. On today's video we're going to be doing a comb-over side part, and this is a very popular haircut. The difference with this video, besides showing you the steps, is that my client in this case, he doesn't have the perfect hair. And what I mean is that sometimes you see on YouTube and on Instagram that barbers only post the best of the best, right? And sometimes we have clients that have the perfect hair, the perfect head, and everything just looks very beautiful, but that is not always the case. So with this video I kind of want to show you guys, what happens when clients don't have the perfect canvas to work with, right? Like my head, for example, it's flat on the back, and some people have the head is too round, too square. Some people have indents, some people have wrinkles in their head, some people have different densities, different growth patterns, the hair grows in different directions, and that makes a huge difference when you're trying to create a haircut. And we gotta be very cautious, and we gotta pay a lot of attention when we're going to do this. So in this case, this haircut we're going to be doing a side part, right? And then we're going to be doing a 2 on the sides. We're gonna fade that into number 4 with a little bit of weight on the sides to create a very square shape. The top was cut actually square as well, and one side where it connects with everything, I round that corner a little bit. Then what we did a little taper on the back, just very compressed, very tiny taper, just because the client didn't have a lot of curvature to the back of his head, so I wanted to kind of keep it under the bone, under the zipper bone. And on top of that we did the sideburns pointy. So it's going to be a cool haircut. It's going to be a difficult haircut because different growth patterns. The client, you can see the bones everywhere, and you have indents in the head, so it's going to be a very fun haircut. And let's go ahead and start with the tutorial. So the first thing we're going to do is going to be to cut the top. I'm going to try to keep this tutorial as simple as possible, just because I have received a lot of messages from people that watch my videos but they're not barbers, so they don't understand sometimes when I use certain terms. So I'm going to make my videos from now on as simple as possible, just in case that you are not a barber, you're just maybe somebody cutting at home, and for whatever, one way or the other, you're trying to do a haircut. I want to make sure that you understand everything that I'm doing. So the first thing we're going to do is cut the top. Reason why I like starting with the top is just because, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to just cut the top, and once you have your shape on top, then you can fade down from there, instead of cutting the bottom, then cutting the top, and then you have to connect everything. I think it's more work, in my opinion. So the first thing I'm going to do is what I consider the top. The top to me starts where the head starts rounding, and because this is the section that is going to connect the top with the sides, so I like to cut that first. Once I create the section, then I know exactly how long I want it, then I'm going to go ahead and cut the top. What I'm going to do on top is I'm going to create a section right in the middle, and this section is going to be probably like a fingered width, and then I'm going to cut that, and this is going to be my main guide. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take vertical sections and use those sections to connect to everything else. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cross check. That means that I'm going to use sections that are opposite to the ones that I did before. So in this case I'm using horizontal sections to double check my work, make sure everything is even and I didn't leave any hairs longer. Now I'm going to just blow dry the hair. For me this is easy. I know a lot of people always ask me why you blow dry the hair right in the middle of the haircut, and the reason is because I'm done with the top. I want to see how the hair lays down. I want to see how it looks once it's dry, what the client is going to see when he's home and when he styles his hair. So I want to see that. So that's why I always dry, make sure it's the way I want it. Then I'm going to fade down from there. So now I'm using a number 4, and I'm going to fade down from a number 4 to a number 2. The client didn't want it too short, so we're just going to connect my first guide that you guys saw me do right with the head rounds. I'm going to connect that to a number 4, lever closed, and then I'm going to use a number 2, first lever open and then lever close. I'm skipping number 3 because in this case I don't feel like I needed it. Then once I'm done with that, I'm going to use a number 2. In this case, how you can see, the client has a lot of different growth patterns. He has spaces between hair, just like myself. I have the same problem. Some parts of my hair are more dense than others. How you can see, all I did was pass a number 2, and how you can see some parts look darker than others. You can see a lot of where his bones are. You can see that some parts have more hair than others. I have the same problem. It happened to me as well. When I was cutting him, I passed the machine so many times in different directions to make sure that it was even. So I know it was even. It's just, you know, the client's head. How I said, I have the same problem, and many other clients have the same problem. What happens is that some clients don't cut their hair that short, so you never get to see the dark and the light parts. So that's why it makes it you don't see as much. But in this case, obviously because the hair is light, you can see it more. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a taper. This is going to be a very compressed, very short taper, because how you can see the client's head is a little bit more flat. So it's like, again, kind of like my head is the same thing, very flat. So usually if you do like a taper, you want to do a short taper, like very low, to kind of create more depth on the back of the head. And I'm going to keep this right under the bone on the back, like the occipital bone. I'm going to keep everything under that. So it's going to be compressed, it's going to be very tight, but I think it's just going to complement the head a lot better, in my opinion. How you can see, the top lays down very nicely. I did explain to the client that I felt, in my opinion, that the hair was a little bit too short on the sides, and I wanted to create a little bit more of a square shape that it will fit a lot better his face. But unfortunately, you know, every barber does their work differently, and everybody sees shapes differently. So I guess the last barber that cut his hair went a little bit more round with the shape, which is absolutely nothing wrong with it. How I said, we just all have different ways to see hair, and that's the beauty of it. So in my opinion, I would have done a little bit more square, and that's what I told him. And so that's why I try to leave the sides a tiny bit, a little bit tighter, especially where the crown is. I didn't touch any of that because I wanted the hair to lay down, and how you can see, it lays down nicely. I explained to him, as he grows, it's going to be actually laid down a lot better. And I cut the crown in the direction that it grows. So that was pretty cool. So back to the taper. All I did was a taper with a number 0, and then I did a guide with a number with the lever open, with no guard at all. And then what I'm doing, I'm just fading from a number 2 to a number 0. So honestly, all I did was a number 2, obviously, because that's what he has on the side. Then I did a 1.5, and then I did a 1, and then now right now I'm using a 1/16, and I'm gonna end up again with the machine with no guard, open first the lever and then close, and that's about it. You know, this type of hair is very difficult, especially for a barber that has no experience, just because when you see indents, when you see different growth patterns, different densities, sometimes you get scared. You don't know how to, you know, like you don't know if it's you, if what it is. In reality, sometimes it's just the client. How I said, not every barber has the perfect clients. Not every client has the perfect hair with the perfect head, with the perfect canvas for you to work with. So we need to remember that sometimes on social media, when we post work, you know, a lot of us post the best of the best, right? Because some people don't want the how can I say, the criticism from others, right? Sometimes I post haircuts that are not perfect, but it not because my skills were not there or because I didn't know how to remove a lot and things like that. Just because sometimes the client doesn't have the perfect head, and it doesn't matter what I did. You know, I did my best, and that's the best I could do. I take a picture, and I want to make sure that people see not just the perfect hair, because I want people to see the more normal haircuts that we get every single day. So right here, what I'm doing, I'm trying to light up those areas that are a little bit darker. So I'm using scissors over comb because I want to create a lot softer texture, and where you guys can see those different densities. Scissors are going to give you a more loose texture, but the machine is going to be very uniform. So that's the difference when to apply what technique. Right there I apply a hot towel, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my razor. I always apply a hot towel because it's in my opinion, it relaxes the client, it relaxes the skin, it opens the pores a little bit, so it makes it a lot easier for you to use the razor. So it's a win-win for everybody, and it takes me like 2 seconds to do it. So right here I'm using my razor. I'm just following the lines that I created with my trimmer. That's about it. Behind the ear, and obviously creating those lines, make them very sharp, very nice, so they pop, and it make the taper on the back pop as well. Usually I also apply a shaving gel or any shaving product. I didn't show in the video, but I always do, just because I want to make sure that my clients have the best experience when they're in my chair. To me, the haircut becomes secondary to the experience. I don't have to be the best at cutting hair, but I do want to be the best customer service, customer experience, and that's what my shop is about. My shop is about offering the best service, the best experience for the amount of time that the client is there in our shop. So that's the best advice I can give for all of you. On the top, I just put a little bit of product. I styled the hair. It was already blow dry, so it's super easy. How you can see, it lays down very, very nicely. And at the end of the day, that's what the client sees. And if the client sees himself from the front and he sees that his hair is styled very nicely, that's it. Also, want to give a shout out to my client, because he's actually a barber himself. He's actually we have a nice conversation. He was telling me he was practicing how to cut hair, and he's learning. He's a firefighter too, but on his off time he wants to be a barber, and that's why I was giving him so many directions. So thank you so much for stopping by and letting me record your haircut and having a great conversation. And that's it, guys. That's the video. How you can see, it looks great. In my opinion, it looks amazing. So thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe and like it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.